Good day, everyone. My name is Allie.
And my name is Robin.
And we welcome you today to VBS News. Following are some USA headlines. U.S. Northeast hit by blizzards, cold after record snow.
U.S. senators visit Cuba to boost agricultural ties as import restrictions are eased.
U.S. Northeast hit by blizzards, cold after record snow. The U.S. Northeast struggled to dig out from the latest in series of winter storms that made February the snowiest month in Boston's history. Blizzard conditions forced the cancellation of more than 1,800 U.S. airline flights on Sunday, most of them into and out of airports in Boston and New York, where wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour were predicted. Temperatures are 25 to 30 degrees below normal for the East Coast, exacerbated by strong winds, said meteorologist Bruce Sullivan of the National Weather Service. The temperature at 1 p.m. in Boston was around 18 degrees Fahrenheit, but it felt like zero thanks to the wind chill. By Monday morning, it was likely to feel like minus 20, the NWS said. Massive snowfall from Boston's fourth major snowstorm in the 2 weeks set a record for the city's snowiest month since weather records were kept, the NWS said. Boston has seen about 6 feet of snow since late January and had already set a record for accumulations in the single week. Damage from rooftop snow piles were a major concern across the Northeast. In Seabrook, New Hampshire, heavy snow caused a roof to collapse over a strip mall. No one was hurt. In Newburyport, Maine, rooftop snow caused a cave in an apartment complex. Emergency crews evacuated each of the apartment units. Workers used shovels and snowblowers to remove the snow on the roofs. This is what you worry about in this kind of weather. The roofs, it's not so much the snow and the shovel. That's bad enough, but the stuff on the roof. I worry about this. This is a new roof. It's only 4 years old, but hopefully it's going to be all right, said Janine Delrecco of Quincy, Massachusetts. Across the region, bitter cold and huge drifts hampered snow removal efforts. A woman in New Jersey was found frozen to death in the snow near her home on Sunday morning. In the Midwest, near whiteout conditions caused a 40-car pileup on a major highway in Muskegon, Michigan, where several injuries non-fatal.
Pennsylvania braces for Valentine's Day snow. The U.S. Northeast was hit by snow squalls on Saturday, February 14th, causing severe car accidents, NBC reported. Forecasters said the driving winds and extreme cold made this storm treacherous. The wind chill in Pittsburgh could hit minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit on Monday, the National Weather Service said. Even before the brunt of the storm moved in, the weather had disrupted travel at East Coast airports, with more than 1,300 flights canceled to the United States as of Saturday afternoon, according to FlightAware.com, a website that tracks air traffic. The most severe weather was headed for the New England coast, including Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and New Hampshire late Saturday into Sunday. Forecasters expected heavy snow accompanied by hurricane-force wind gusts of up to 75 miles per hour. More than 50 people from Michigan to southern Canada were in the path of the storm, which was tracking east over the Great Lakes and gaining strength as it approached the Atlantic coast of New England, the National Weather Service said.
Snowstorm causes a 38-car pileup in Chicago. The U.S. Northeast struggled to dig out on Sunday from the latest in a series of winter storms, but bitter cold and huge drifts hampered the effort. Blizzard conditions forced the cancellation of more than 1,800 U.S. airline flights, most of them into and out of airports in Boston and New York, where wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour were predicted. Temperatures are 25 to 30 degrees below normal for the East Coast, exacerbated by strong winds, according to the Weather Service. In Chicago, lake effect snow caused slippery conditions on some area roadways close to Lake Michigan, causing multiple accidents, including a 38-car pileup on the Kennedy Expressway, causing it to shut down. The fire department had 12 transports, including one CFD member that tripped and fell. They have all gone to different hospitals, and roughly we had about 75 personnel on the scene working this multi-vehicle accident, said Dan Herma, Chicago Fire Department's district chief. None of the injuries were life-threatening.
U.S. aviation regulators proposing new rules for people flying drones. The U.S. aviation regulator proposed on Sunday, February 15th, that people flying drones for commercial purposes obtain a special pilot certificate, stay away from bystanders, and fly only during the day. The long-awaited draft rule governing drones also limits flying speed to 100 miles per hour and the altitude to 500 feet above ground level. Industry experts said the Federal Aviation Administrator's draft rule appeared to be relatively benign, lacking onerous pilot qualification standards that could have severely restricted commercial flying of drones. However, the rule was unlikely to help Amazon.com in its quest to deliver packages with unmanned drones, since its approach required an FAA-certified small drone pilot to fly the aircraft and keep it line in sight at all times, factors not envisioned in the online retailer's plan. The draft rule, nearly 10 years in the making, still must undergo public comment and revision before becoming final, a process expected to take at least a year. The rule would not require drone pilots to undergo the medical tests or flight hours required of manned aircraft pilots. Commercial drone operators would need to be at least 17 years old, pass an aeronautical knowledge test, and be vetted by the Transportation Security Administration. Separately, President Barack Obama issued a memo outlining principles for government use of drones, covering such issues as privacy protections and oversight of federal drone use.
U.S. senators visit Cuba to boost agricultural ties as import restrictions are eased. Two of U.S. senators representing the Democratic Party and the agriculturally vital U.S. Midwest region began a 4-day trade mission in Cuba Saturday in a bid to expand bilateral ties and open new opportunities. The arrival of Claire McCaskill, Democrat of Missouri, and Amy Klobuchar, Democrat of Minnesota, comes just a day after the United States eased restrictions on imports of goods and services from private Cuban entrepreneurs as a part of Washington's rapprochement with the Havana after more than half a century of enmity. However, the State Department said many goods were excluded from this round of liberalization, including tobacco, vegetable products, and some textiles, and it was unclear whether Cuba would relax its own rules to permit Cubans to export to the United States. With the thawing of Cuba-U.S. relations still playing out, McCaskill was forthright about the potential for her constitutions to tap into a new market. McCaskill and Klobuchar co-led a bipartisan coalition seeking legislation to end the 50-year-old economic embargo. President Obama has been working to bring an embassy here, and that's why we are looking at making changes to that first. I think that it's really important. And then the next thing would be looking at travel restrictions. We've made some changes there. Relatives have been able to come in, but I think it's really important to lift that. Klobuchar said. After 18 months of secret talks, Obama, Cuban President Raul Castro agreed in a December 17th phone call on a breakthrough prisoner exchange, the formal responding of embassies and an easing of some restrictions on commerce.
Shooting reported inside a Walmart in Mississippi. Police were investigating a shooting at a Walmart store in Iuka, Mississippi on Sunday, February 16th, and the store was closed, the Tishomingo County Sheriff's Office said. According to local media, one man was killed during an exchange of gunfire with a police officer. The police officer was wounded, say media reports. A duty officer who answered the phone at the sheriff's office said no other information was available. The Iuka Police Department declined to comment on the incident, and no one picked up the phone at the Walmart. Iuka is about 100 miles southwest of Nashville, Tennessee. We will be back after the commercial.